Coming up on BCN today. Lethbridge police investigating after 2 dogs allegedly poisoned and died in a Southside neighborhood. Plus, despite cost-saving recommendations, AHS says it will not be closing hospitals. And Canadians in the coronavirus epicenter of Wuhan, China, shortlisted for a flight destined for Canada this Thursday.
Your Canada. Your Southern Alberta. Your stories. From our studios in the heart of Lethbridge, it's BCN Today with Jeanette Roche.
Hello and thanks for joining us. Ottawa has sent letters to Canadians in Wuhan, China, alerting them that they've been shortlisted for a flight leaving the city early Thursday morning local time. A copy of the letter obtained by the Canadian Press says the government can't guarantee that everyone who is eligible for a seat will be able to board the plane. Passengers will be screened for the novel coronavirus, and those with symptoms will not be allowed to board. The letter recommends Canadians arrive at the airport hours early and only bring one carry-on, as there will be no facilities to handle luggage. All passengers will be held for 14 days after their arrival at CFB Trenton, Ontario. So far, there are 4 cases of the coronavirus in Canada, none in Alberta. Health officials have found that symptoms of the novel coronavirus can appear up to 14 days after exposure, but in young people, it tends to be more like 7 to 9 days.
There have been a total of 362 deaths. One was in a Chinese national who was in the Philippines at the time. 142 cases in Asia and Oceania. 5 in the Middle East, 25 in Europe, 11 in the United States, and 4 in Canada.
And reports of coronavirus are being taken very seriously. Yesterday, a man who claimed that he had the new coronavirus caused a WestJet flight from Toronto to Jamaica to turn back to the airport. Police and paramedics were waiting at Toronto's Pearson Airport when the flight landed, and WestJet says the crew followed all infectious disease protocols as a precaution. No trace of the virus was found, and passengers had to wait until this morning to start their vacations. The man is now facing a charge of mischief. Alberta Health Services says it has welcomed a review by Ernst & Young and is ready to move forward with improvements to Alberta's healthcare system. Dr. Vera Yu, AHS President and CEO, says all recommendations in the report are being fully considered, with the exception of 2. AHS will not propose the closure of hospitals or the merger of trauma centers in Edmonton, and AHS, together with the Government of Alberta, will ensure low-income patients are protected. The review outlines potential gross savings over multiple years based on fully adopting every one of the 57 suggested recommendations. Some of the recommendations will be acted on immediately, while others will require additional exploration and initial investment. Lethbridge Police Commission made its quarterly report to City Council. Lethbridge Police Chief Scott Woods discussed the impact that the WATCH program, community peace officers, and the police and crisis team are having on our community.
We've heard a lot of positive things. They're doing a lot of good things out there, from providing directions to actually if they see something that they need to contact the police in to allow us to take over, our community peace officers in some situations. All kinds of public service related things, providing some services on to some people that are disadvantaged downtown as well or in need of services. So they're doing a very good job for us.
Lethbridge police have charged a 44-year-old man in connection with a drug bust over the weekend. Police say during a traffic stop of a bicycle early Saturday morning, they arrested the man who was wanted on an outstanding warrant. During a search, they found 31 bags of methamphetamine and other drug paraphernalia. Cordella Daniel Badarm of Lethbridge faces charges including drug trafficking. Badarm was in court earlier Monday to answer to the charges. Lethbridge police are investigating a report that 2 dogs died over the weekend after being poisoned in a South Side yard. The owner of the 2 dogs said the animals began howling and acting strangely before collapsing. They were taken to a local vet and later died. Police have seized suspicious food from the backyard of the home, and the investigation is ongoing. Homeowners in the area of the 400 block of 28th Street South are asked to use extra caution in the area. If you see anything suspicious, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. And so many of us have pets. Some even refer to their dogs and cats as their fur babies. So when it comes to proper nutrition for your fur baby, what's the best way to go? Stephanie Bodnarchuk is an Alberta veterinarian. She stopped by our studio recently to discuss what is most important when choosing a food to meet your pet's needs.
The biggest thing I look for in a food is going to be the research and development that goes behind the food. So not looking at the bright colors on the bag or human grade ingredients, look at all the pretty fruits and vegetables on the front of the bag, looking at that company, how much research, feeding trials they put into it. There's pet store foods that are absolutely excellent to feed. If your cat or dog has a specific medical condition, I would probably be listening to the veterinary advice if they need a special prescription diet.
Veterinarian Stephanie Bodnarchuk will have more on how to properly care for your pet, especially during the cooler winter months. That's coming up in the second half of our show. Calgary City Councillors have unanimously approved a call for a bylaw that would impose a fine against anyone advertising or offering conversion therapy services within Calgary. Conversion therapy aims to change someone's sexual orientation through counseling or religious teachings, a practice that has been discredited by some as psychologically damaging. The motion was sponsored by 5 city councillors and Mayor Naheed Nenshi. A number of Canadian cities, including Edmonton and Vancouver, have already banned the practice. The Alberta Fire Chiefs Association launched a province-wide campaign designed to encourage Albertans to test their carbon monoxide detectors every month. According to the group's research, 70% of Albertans have at least one carbon monoxide detector, but less than half say they test them on an annual basis. The study also says only 29% of Albertans were concerned about carbon monoxide poisoning. The AFCA says not only are there risks associated with furnaces, but also gas stove ranges, fireplaces, space heaters, and dryers. For more on how to protect your family from carbon monoxide poisoning, visit the Alberta Fire Chiefs Association at afca.ca. Alberta's Serious Incident Response Team is investigating after police shot a teenager as they responded to an armed robbery in Edmonton. The boy is recovering in hospital. Edmonton police say an officer on another investigation last evening witnessed what appeared to be a male youth using a gun to rob a second teen. Alberta Premier Jason Kenney left for Montreal and will be off to Washington, D.C. later this week. Government officials say Kenney will be meeting with business leaders in Montreal. In Washington, he's attending the National Governors Association meetings along with the premiers of Saskatchewan, Ontario, and Quebec. The statement says the trip is meant to promote the government's work to drive investment, expand Alberta exports, and get pipelines built. Former Humboldt Bronco Ryan Struchnitsky says he's seeing positive changes since having spinal surgery in Thailand last year. Struchnitsky was paralyzed from the chest down in the Broncos bus crash in 2018. He says he hopes his experience will convince Health Canada to allow the surgery to be done here in our country. He had an epidural stimulator implanted in his spine, which allows him to walk using a machine. In December, Struchnitsky was named to the Alberta sledge hockey team. Democratic Party officials in Iowa are promising to deliver the delayed results of their caucuses today. The results have been delayed because of technical problems and reporting inconsistencies. The Iowa caucus is the much-hyped kickoff to the 2020 Democratic primary. U.S. President Donald Trump tweeted that the caucus was, quote, an unmitigated disaster. And the problem was with a mobile app which appeared to force the delay in reporting the results, leaving the campaigns, voters, and the media in election limbo and pressing for an explanation.
What is your reaction to what happened with the caucuses today? Not at all surprised. I mean, they're trying a new vendor with new tech. I work in tech. I knew this was coming.
Well, I'd rather them be accurate than rush it. So if we have to wait a couple days, we have to.
The European Union has rejected U.S. President Donald Trump's Middle East peace proposal, saying it breaks with internationally agreed parameters. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell is concerned about Israel's plan to annex more land in the West Bank and the Jordan Valley. The Palestinians and Arab Gulf states have also rejected Trump's plan. A woman is dead and 5 others were injured after a gunman opened fire aboard a packed Greyhound bus as it was traveling from Los Angeles to San Francisco early Monday. The driver pulled over onto the shoulder and managed to force the killer off.
At this time, we are working out the details exactly how that transpired, but ultimately they were able to get the suspect off of the bus without the weapon. The suspect was left on the right shoulder of northbound Interstate 5, and the driver then left the scene and pulled to the very next off-ramp, which is here at the Grapevine into this Valero gas station, where they were able to immediately attend to the medical needs of the victim. Simultaneously, as that happened, California Highway Patrol officers responded to the area and located the suspect on the right shoulder and were able to take him into custody without further incident.
The victim was a 51-year-old woman from Colombia. Well, we had cooler temperatures this morning, but mainly sunny for the rest of the day, with wind gusts up to 80 kilometers per hour this afternoon. I'll have a full look at the weather coming up right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Here's a look at our weather highlights for today and tomorrow in Lethbridge. Mainly sunny skies for the rest of the day today, but increasing wind. We're going to be seeing some wind gusts today up to 80 kilometers per hour. -2 is the high, and we're going to be seeing up to 3 degrees tomorrow with plenty of sunshine. Some scattered clouds expected on Thursday with a high of 3 degrees, and then increasing cloudiness on Friday with a high of 0. Then we're going to drop a bit to -3 on Saturday with some flurries there. Sunday's high 0 degrees, and we could climb up to 2 degrees on Monday with some scattered clouds there, but mainly sunny skies for Sunday and Monday. Looking at the Almanac's highs and lows for this time of year, 0 degrees being the average high, -12, the average low. The high temperature on this day was in 1992. It was 17 degrees. And the coldest day was -31. That was in 1989. The sun rose this morning at 8 a.m. and it will set at 5:30 p.m. right on the dot. They're giving us 9.5 hours of daylight. And looking over to the west coast, we're going to see some precipitation over there. Victoria is going to be seeing some showers with a high of 4 degrees. Snow is actually expected today in Vancouver with a high of 1. -3 is the high in Edmonton, and 0 should be the high over in Calgary with a mix of scattered clouds there. Mainly sunny across the prairies, though, especially in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. -9 is the high in Saskatoon, -8 the high in Regina, and a chilly -13 is expected over in Winnipeg as the prairies are experiencing those clear sunny skies that give that brisk cold air. Over in Toronto, 3 degrees is the high, 2 degrees should be expected in Ottawa. And Montreal's high today, they're looking at 0 with increasing clouds over there as well. Over into the Maritimes, Fredericton's high will be seeing 2 degrees. 3 degrees is the high over in Halifax. Halifax should be expecting some flurries today. Lots of sunshine up in Charlottetown. -1 is their high, and -3 is the expected high over in St. John's, Newfoundland, with a mix of sun and cloud. There you go. That is your forecast. Here's a look at your community calendar.
Here's your Bridge City News community calendar. Come for a fun evening filled with musical entertainment to the Lethbridge Community Brass Choir's Brass Day Concert, featuring international trumpet soloist and jazz artist Rex Richardson on Saturday, February 29th, beginning at 7 p.m. at College Drive Community Church. Tickets are $15 and free for children under 12. Purchase yours today at CASA or visit lcbs.yapcity.com. For details, go to lcbs.ca. Big Brothers Big Sisters in Lethbridge is searching for volunteers to mentor children and youth in their various programs. Volunteers commit anywhere from 1 hour a week to 1 full year. They have many kids on their wait list that are looking for a big brother or sister. Make a difference in a child's life and start something big. For more information, call 403-328-9355 or email info.leth@bigbrothersbigsisters.ca. Come for a night of down-home fun to the Friends Winter Barn Dance on Saturday, March 7th, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Galt Museum and Archives. Wear your best Western hat and boots and dance the night away. Proceeds will go towards educational programs at the Galt. Tickets are $30 for adults, $20 for youth ages 11 to 17, and children 10 and under are free. Purchase yours by visiting galtmuseum.com. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.
Surf's up! Tokyo is to debut a new Olympic sport. Members of the U.S. Olympic surfing event are training in California to compete in the upcoming Summer Games in Tokyo, where surfing will make its Olympic debut.
For the first time ever, there's going to be surfing in the Olympics. So like diving or gymnastics, it is a very subjective sport. However, there's an extremely strong criteria about it, and that is, who rides the wave the best in the most critical portion of the wave. So that's what people are being judged against. Things like aerials, things like tube riding are sort of the extras on them. So they're having it at a place called Shira in Chiba. It's about 40 miles outside of Tokyo.
If you're a football fan, I'm sure you had your eyes glued to the tube Sunday night to see the Kansas City Chiefs become Super Bowl champions. The Chiefs beat the San Francisco 49ers 31-20 to capture the 54th Super Bowl. Fans celebrated Kansas City's first championship in 5 decades.
First time in 50 years. Historic moment. Unbelievable game. The team it plays with real heart, and that's why we're here.
It's a heartbreaker, but guess what? You only live once, and we were at the Super Bowl.
We had them exactly where we wanted them. Then we came back, and it makes it all, it's this guy.
We prepared for this moment.
This is the guy.
It's devastating, but I mean, Chiefs did that, we watched it. We all watched the game. It is what it is. Hats off to them. Congratulations.
Go Chiefs! Number one, let's go!
Congrats once again to the Kansas City Chiefs. A massive memorial created by the public outside Staples Center after the death of former Los Angeles Lakers superstar Kobe Bryant was being dismantled Monday, with an official saying some of the items would go to Bryant's widow and other family members. Peanut allergies, many of us have them. Health Canada says it's one of the most common food allergies around. Studies suggest that 1 in 13 Canadians suffer from a significant food allergy. In the U.S., the Food and Drug Administration has approved the first treatment for children with peanut allergies. As we hear in this next report, experts say the drug promises to lower the chances that an accidental bite of peanuts causes a severe reaction.
18-year-old Nina Nichols' first encounter with peanuts was when she was 2 years old. A few bites landed her in the emergency room.
My friend innocently gave me a peanut butter cracker at the pool, and I ended up reacting.
Her eyes were swollen shut, she was vomiting, and she was starting to wheeze when she was breathing.
But today, Nichols is able to eat a small amount of peanut thanks to an oral immunotherapy drug called Palforzia. It is the first drug to reduce allergic reactions to peanuts approved by the Food and Drug Administration. It does come with special precautions patients must meet. Patients mix the specially prepared peanut powder into food daily and gradually increase the amount over months.
It's not a cure for peanut allergy. This is something that even in patients who undergo treatment with this peanut product, they will need to continue avoiding peanut.
Dr. Hemant Sharma is Nichols' doctor and part of the study at Children's National Hospital. He says Palforzia isn't for everyone. It can cause side effects ranging from mild to a severe allergic reaction.
The gastrointestinal side effects were the most significant ones, and those included symptoms such as chronic nausea, sometimes progressing to vomiting, and that is something that must be considered up front and discussed with patients.
Oh, your back looks really good too. About 1 in 13 children have food allergies in the United States. Peanut allergy is the most common and is considered one of the most dangerous. Other therapies being explored include drops under the tongue and a daily peanut patch that is absorbed through the skin.
Stepping away from oral immunotherapy, there's a lot of exciting stuff that's in the pipeline.
Experts say peanuts are just the first foods to be tackled. This also opens the doors for other allergens.
We've looked at milk, we've looked at egg, we've looked at various tree nuts and starting to look at seeds, a little bit with other foods like fish.
So these are my EpiPens.
Nichols still needs to carry her EpiPens everywhere, but says Palforzia has changed her life.
Basically almost like a security blanket over me.
Giving Nichols and her family peace of mind. Kathy Young, Associated Press.
Parent-teenager relationships can be challenging at the best of times. Parents offer structure in the house, and sometimes teens don't want to play by the rules. Lissy Reno is a 20-year-old who wrote a book on how to smooth over some issues between mom, dad, and their teen. She says it's important to continue building the relationship and to do so through effective communication.
What the world is going to say is to teenagers is you should talk to everyone else. You should talk to your friends. You should talk to your mentors. You should talk to your youth group leaders. But the last person in the world to talk to is your parents, because there's that fear, that shame and embarrassment. And so I think if parents can really work through that and help build the relationship of trust and openness, that would be so helpful in navigating all of those relationships.
Lissy will have more advice on how teens and parents can strengthen their relationship coming up right after this short break. Stay with us.